Thanks very much for staying with us. Here in Paris, the campaigners who have complained about the devastating impact of Total's EACOP project in Uganda are in court again for a key stage in their accusations against the multinational that the cost of the heated pipeline going through East Africa is not worth its disruption to affected communities. Also, we head to DR Congo, where communities who had been hit by last month's devastating floods face another blow as their homes are demolished by authorities who say it's the safest option. And one way to a continent's heart can apparently be through the stomach. We meet Benin's culinary tour de force Georgiana Viou, who has a perspective from both Europe and Africa, which she's leveraging to tempt customers on both sides. But first, here in Paris, courts held a hearing that is key to campaigners' push for accountability from energy multinational Total. Now, it could prove decisive in gaining access to evidence that Total had long refused to disclose about the impact of its building of the EACOP oil pipeline in Uganda. Campaigners from the country and from elsewhere have been a long battle with Total, accusing it of having neglected its responsibilities to affected communities. Our regional correspondent, Viou, tells us more.
This week, TotalEnergies is back in court. The French oil company is facing a second lawsuit in Paris over its multi-billion-dollar oil project in Uganda and Tanzania. After years of delays, Total now aims to begin the project by 2026, with operations planned to continue for 2 decades. Over 400 oil wells are planned in Uganda, and the oil will be transported through a 1,443-kilometre heated pipeline to a Tanzanian port. 5 NGOs and 26 Ugandan individuals are accusing the company of failing to protect local communities and the environment, as required by France's corporate duty of vigilance law. The first case back in 2023 was dismissed on technical grounds, but now the plaintiffs argue that the damage is already done. Land has been seized, livelihoods lost, and ecosystems completely disrupted. NGOs estimate that over 100,000 people will be affected by this project, and they claim that the opposition to the plan is being silenced. Many also say that compensation agreements were signed under a huge amount of pressure. The plaintiffs are asking the court to force Total to release key internal documents that they say are crucial for proving the scale of the harm and the company's responsibility. This trial is the first to be heard by France's new court chamber, which is dedicated to corporate accountability.
Regional correspondent Viou there for us. Now, in DR Congo, communities living along the Congo River in the capital have been hit by more loss just a month after last month's fatal flash floods. Now, this week, authorities started pulling down illegally built homes along the danger zone. The government says the demolition is a precaution that will save lives by moving communities out of the way should the river burst its banks again. But those forced out as their houses were pulled down feel anything but considered, as Antonia Kerrigan tells us.
In Kinshasa, residents look on as their homes are demolished.
Look, our property's been looted, our homes have been destroyed and our property stolen. Where will we go? The authorities have mercy on us. Why are you doing this to us? Where are we supposed to go? We don't even have any money.
Residents who bought the land and poured money into building these homes are distraught. But after dramatic flooding in the capital killed dozens of people last month, authorities have little sympathy. They say the evicted residents built their homes illegally on flood-prone land.
When there are floods, people drown, others die. You criticize the state because you say that the state is not acting. Now we want to act. We gave warning last November that you must leave, right? You've had enough time, so now go, because a bulldozer is coming to destroy everything here.
Homeowners dispute that they built illegally, but Kinshasa's population has exploded in recent years, causing rampant construction ever closer to the Njili River, making future floods more dangerous.
Well, in Kenya, the launch on Thursday of a new political party by former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua erupted into unrest. Armed men clashed with crowds who had turned out in protest against Gachagua's break with President William Ruto's ruling coalition. Now, Gachagua's creation of the Democracy for the Citizens Party, or DCP, is a reflection of deepening fissures in the country's political landscape. Gachagua backed Ruto in his 2022 election win, but was later impeached by Ruto's UDA on charges including stirring up ethnic hatred. Now, he has denied all the accusations and is likely to run against Ruto in 2027. Before Thursday's rally descended into chaos, he pledged to offer Kenyans a more open political model.
You all know I'm a truthful man and an honest man. I keep my word and my promises. I detest lies, and that is why I disagreed with the liar number one. I'll spend the next 2 years with the people of the Republic of Kenya, traveling to every corner of our country, to every village, listening to the people, to build one of the most formidable political movements since independence.
Well, the European Union is ramping up its investments on the continent. Now, that includes more than 800 million euros being pledged to major infrastructure projects in Ghana. The support of the country's improvements to energy, health and transport is another sign of the European bloc's shift in its approach to Africa, as traditional US partnerships appear to become increasingly unpredictable. Justice Baidu talks us through.
As African economies grow, so too are their infrastructure and development needs. Ghana, for example, is currently grappling with an infrastructure deficit estimated to be over 10 billion euros. Through this Global Gateway Initiative, the European Union says it is shifting from the old ways of doing things where rich countries that had money to spend will be the ones determining what donor funds be used for. It is now asking Ghana to share those critical sectors of its economy that need support for the spending of this money.
This is an integrated approach. We are speaking about corridors. This is what we are doing, for example, in the Lobito corridor. So it's logistic, transportation, energy. So it's electrification, so it's integrated approach. So we don't take it, I would say, by a slice.
Countries in the global south, like Ghana, have been turning to places like China for cheaper credit that comes with less stringent measures. It seems that blocs like the European Union are ramping up to that challenge.
We have the best financial offer because we are very much cautious not to overburden in indebtedness our partner. This is a critical element. And what matters to us is the trickle-down of the creation of local jobs.
This initiative, which is costing the European Union more than 800 million euros, is targeting areas like health, agribusiness, and energy in Ghana.
Justice Baidu, therefore, in Accra. Now, one way to a continent's heart can be through the stomach. And for Beninese culinary tour de force Georgiana Viou, the value of that transcontinental exchange goes both ways. Now, she was raised on the flavours of West Africa before later going on to earn a Michelin star here in France. And that's given her a perspective that has helped tempt customers in both Europe and Africa. Take a look.
In the Saint-Michel market in Cotonou, the famous chef is back where her journey began. among the flavors and colors of her childhood.
Là, par exemple, on a typiquement un étalage de
There
légumes.
are vegetables here, just like in
Ce qui
Marseille.
est marrant, c'est qu'on peut
Purple
avoir
eggplants,
des légumes
black
un peu comme dans le
ones,
sud.
even
À
squash.
Marseille, par exemple, on a les aubergines
Maybe I
violettes, là,
just didn't
les aubergines
notice
noires.
them when I was
On a même
younger.
de la courge depuis quelques années maintenant. On a beaucoup de courges. Ou peut-être c'est moi qui ne voyais pas ça quand j'étais petite sur les marchés.
At the new restaurant in this luxury hotel, Georgiana Viou blends French cuisine with those local flavors, which some might find intriguing.
Dans les plats français que je fais,
In the French
de temps en
dishes that
temps,
I
on
make,
va
from time to
retrouver
time, you'll find
des
ingredients
ingrédients
from
du Bénin.
Benin. I've
Il m'est
already
déjà arrivé
made
de
a
faire un
shrimp
tartare de
tartare with
crevettes avec
raw
du
okra,
gombo cru.
which I know
Je sais que ça, les
scandalizes the
Béninois crient au
Beninese.
scandale.
Back in France, at her Michelin star restaurant, Viou cooks by instinct, guided by aroma, flavor, and memory. Her culinary style is bold, free, and deeply personal.
Je pense que je suis un ovni.
I think
Mais
I'm
dans le
an
sens,
alien.
ouais, les gens n'arrivent pas forcément à me suivre, ils
People
n'arrivent pas
don't
forcément à
always
comprendre.
understand
Mais
me.
c'est pas grave. dans
But that's
l'absolu.
okay.
Je pense que ce
I
qui fait
cook
ma
with
singularité,
freedom,
c'est ma personnalité.
in
C'est
every
mon
sense
vécu,
of the word.
mais c'est vraiment ma personnalité. Cette soif de liberté, mais liberté au sens, dans tous les sens du terme.
From the street markets of Benin to the fine dining rooms of France, Georgiana Viou is not just cooking. She's rewriting the rules of what food and identity can be.
Si c'est bon,
If it's good,
c'est l'essentiel.
that's
non,
what
que ce soit
matters.
bon. À l'oreille, à l'odeur et au goût.
And finally, tributes continue to come in from rugby fans from across the continent and beyond over the death of former South African Springbok Cornel Hendricks. The 37-year-old, who scored 5 tries in 12 Test appearances, died on Wednesday of a heart attack. Now, he had a heart condition that had actually forced him to retire back in 2015, but he did return to the sport in 2019, playing a total of 233 first-class matches in a professional career spanning more than 17 years. That's it for Eye on Africa. Thanks very much for joining us, though, and do so again if you can. Till then, take care.